Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. This is the Profitable Interior Designer broadcast that Lesley and I do every Thursday, or at least most Thursdays. Let me make sure we're going live on Instagram. Here we go. Okay, so today, once again, we're talking about contracts. We had quite the response to the last contract live we did, and I think it's really important to be talking about the contracts, how to make sure that they are communicating what you need to communicate to your client, plus protecting you and your client. So Lesley, talk a little bit about the schedules that we have attached to the contracts that we sell. Let's talk about full service design today.
Yeah. Well, one of the logistical challenges we found is designers like to avoid contracts, and they're really important. They're not scary legal things. They are documents that outline expectations for you and for your client to make things clear. And one roadblock we found why designers resist them, don't want to use them, they're long, and there's always little bits of information to change all throughout it. Your price, your hourly rate, this fee, this, what's the client's like. And this is why when we recently updated all of our amazing contracts, we made it as simple as possible so that all of the information that needs to be edited is on 3 schedules at the end. A schedule is just a fancy legal term for like a page of notes that goes along with the document, just to be
Thank
clear.
you. That was good.
It's not a calendar. It's not a spreadsheet. So basically in our new full service contract, on the first page, you need to put your client's name and address, but that's it. Everything else in that contract becomes your standard procedure for full service design. And it's only at the end of the contract, after the signature page, that there are 3 additional schedules. And again, schedule page with a note on it. So don't get hung up on
information that the client will want to know and that you want the client to know.
That is relevant to the project. Yes, absolutely. So the 3 schedules, Schedule A is the project scope and the investment estimate. So this is, we're doing X rooms, we're doing Y in each room, and we think the furnishings, decor, lighting, whatever is going to cost Z. It's an estimate, but it does let them know this is what this contract includes. We're doing these spaces, we're doing these things to these spaces, and we think you're going to spend this amount to get this result. Schedule B is the project timeline. When is the project starting? How long is each phase estimated to take? Because we all know shit happens. It's not always a perfect schedule, but it lets the client know, is this a 3-week project or a 3-year project? What are they agreeing to by signing that contract? And the third schedule, Schedule C, payment for design services. This is where you outline, okay, for concept and detailed design, it's a flat fee, it's X amount, it's payable in 2 payments. Here are the dates. Implementation, project management is hourly, working backwards from a chunk of hours. Here's what we estimate. Here's the payments. I mean, it is just idiot-proofing it and making it crystal clear to you and your client what they owe you, when they owe you. And when you get this stuff locked down right at the beginning, you don't have to worry about it. You have your client's buy-in for your design fee, for the investment, what they're going to spend on the stuff for the project.
Yes.
Getting a good contract and getting things locked down early means much smoother sailing for the rest of the design project.
Yeah. And I mean, this contract that we sell is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages of the contract itself. And like Lesley said, you put in your name, client's name, address, and the state on one of the pages, the state where the legal stuff would take place. God forbid the client you sued the client or the client sued you. Then really nothing else has to happen on those pages beside client signatures in certain spots.
Yep.
To help you avoid what you
client
like to
initials,
avoid.
Right?
Sorry, client initials. What did I say?
Signatures.
Oh, sorry. Client initials in certain spots that we know you try to avoid. Little things about your process that you don't want them to know. And then the schedules are so simple. Like Lesley said, you want to tell them the project scope and investment estimate per room. Or if you're doing a full house, you can do full house. It depends on your client and how much they're going to really want to, tolerate, whether they want more detail or whether they're global people. So you have to be able to read your client as well. These schedules is the clarity that a client needs going into a project. And not for nothing, it's the clarity that the designer needs to set their calendar up to make sure that they never lose track of this client's project. So if in Schedule B, you're saying conceptual design will take 6 weeks plus 1 week for client approval and feedback and revision requests, that's holding your feet to the fire. It's in your contract now. So go to your calendar and make sure you're putting in at 2 weeks what should be done, at 3 weeks what should be done, 4 weeks, by 5 weeks you should be ready to present, and on week 6. So you're accountable to the client for your schedule as well. So you want to make sure you do that. And then of course, like Lesley said, Schedule B is the project timelines. I'm sorry, we talked about that. And then payment, people, when do they need to pay you? Now, these contracts are created for the hybrid model, which is a flat design fee, variable project management fee. If that's not your business model, these contracts would have to be modified and checked by an attorney. But if that's the business model that you're looking to go towards, these contracts and our training videos and the Canva templates we give you for the proposals, it's your whole business model is just done.
Yeah.
It's just done. So if you get these contracts, you're just going right into the business model that we teach.
Bingo. And what I wanted to mention too is that these contracts align with the key, the designer's ultimate pricing tool that we have available. And if you've filled out the key, you've got the contract 90% sorted. You're not starting from zero trying to figure out what all these numbers are. You've got the key for the pricing. You've got the key for the project scope and investment estimate. And then it's really you figuring out timeline. It really does make this. We've tried to take the scary out of contracts. We know this is not something, you didn't start a design business to write contracts and get bogged down by legalese. Right. So we've made it as easy as possible. And as someone who is a working designer and using these contracts, I can confirm they do make this a lot easier and much, much less scary.
Yeah, and I really can't believe how many of our clients are coming back. Biggest design fee ever. Client didn't push back. And it's because they're using the key to calculate. It's giving them the confidence to know that the pricing is right. Then they're using the contract, the proposal templates from Canva that we're giving them that can be made pretty in the designer's branding colors and fonts, and the client's understanding their investment level. Then you do the contract where everything's been discussed already. Now it's just that little legalese you have to get through. And again, the schedules that you should attach to your contract make it easy not to have narrative within your contract that has to be changed on a regular basis. So that's why we did it that way. So I think that really covers everything when it comes to what schedules should be attached to your contract for full service design. Let me just look at the pre-construction design planning contract. Talk a little bit about that, because I don't think people know that we have a pre-construction design planning contract. Tell them what it's for.
Yes. So when you are doing a remodel, when you are doing a new build, an addition, something where there are a lot of unknowns, the client doesn't know what the investment's going to be. You don't know exactly how the project's going to go or what. It's really hard to price the full project through to the finish line when you're still kind of in that exploratory phase. And that's what the pre-construction design and pre-construction planning phases are. And we have actually made that a separate agreement. Now, if you're able to price the whole job, soup to nuts, full new build, go for it, put it all together, make it one agreement. But what we found is that often designers need to get through that initial pre-construction planning phase to even get enough data to keep quoting the project and to know if the project is even feasible for the client.
I like when you call it a feasibility study. Sometimes the client says to you, can you talk to my architect? Can you look at the plans? And can you find me a contractor? And I'm not sure if I want to do this or that. And depending on that decision, it's going to cost more or less, right? Yes. So there's where your pre-construction design planning contract can come in handy. Before you go into a full design contract with these people, you may want to figure this stuff out because they're unsure which direction they're going in. So what's happened in the past is people just use a full service design contract. They include that pre-construction design planning in the design phase, but then the client realizes, oh no, like they have to do way more in my kitchen than I thought. It's not going to work. It's going to cost me too much. And suddenly they're pulling out and you've already got a ton of their money. And then you got to give it back.
I had to refund part of a flat design fee once because the client had to cut a full room out of the scope in order to make the other rooms work once we got through that pre-phase. And that's when I went, okay, this isn't working. I shouldn't be
Yes.
quoting a project where there are still unknowns and the scope isn't completely defined yet. So this contract is gold because it also allows you to get paid for that phase. So many designers do this for free. They
Yep.
start reviewing plans and meeting with contractors to try to get the job. And this is your expertise. This is your time. This is your energy. This is absolutely active design work. This is not freebies that you should be doing to try to get the remodel or the new build job.
I know when I hear one of our interior design clients say, well, I just reviewed the architectural plans. It only took me an hour. Okay, but then you had to get on the phone with the client, talk about it's not just an hour, plus you're being interrupted. So do the pre-construction design planning contract. And again, there's a schedule attached, 2 schedules attached, one schedule A, project scope. So you're determining with this hourly part of the beginning of the job, it's an hourly contract, you're writing exactly what they're expecting you to do.
Yes.
Interview 3 contractors, present it to us, help us choose this, that, and the other thing, right? It's all there for you. And then of course, schedule B, the payment and how you receive the payment. So every one of the contracts that we sell have a minimum of pages of legalese. We had to do that. You have to be protected. And then we have these schedules at the end that are just easy for you to fill in. It's so easy, everybody. I just can't. So if you have your own contracts and they're working well for you, for your pricing model, keep them. But try switching into this schedule model where you're attaching schedule A, B, and C on the back based on your timelines, your projections, and your deliverables, so that you don't have to always change the front 7 pages or 6 pages or whatever you have in your contract. So that's why we did it.
Nothing worse than presenting a contract and realizing you have another client's name in there somewhere, or your hourly rate is wrong. It's your old rate and you're stuck because the client's seen it. So we've made it as few spots as possible that need editing, and we've made it like just as clear as we could.
Yes. And that's all. That's it. That's all we have to say. If you need a contract, check ours out. They're amazing. They were made with attorney David Adler. I have a YouTube video up with him from a couple of weeks ago that explains a little bit more. But the thing I love the most, Lesley, is that if people get the contract or the key or both, they're really getting a full training on how they should be pricing and not losing money and be profitable in their interior design firm. This is not just a contract. This is not just the key ultimate pricing model. It is a training that goes along with it. That's really kind of
the training's worth the cost of admission. You just also happen to get these amazing tools that you can use indefinitely in your business.
This is true. This is true. All right, everyone. So if you're interested in the contracts, click the link that we put in the description or go to my website, nancyganzacoffer.com. Check out the contracts. We explain them a little bit on the landing page. You can buy them separately. You can buy them together as a bundle, which is the best price. But whatever you need, only get what you need. That's the bottom line. Okay. All right, Lesley, I will see you next week for our Profitable Interior Designer broadcast. And everyone go have a great day. See you next time.
Thursday.
Happy Thursday.